Hello, and welcome to the latest in the podcast series I'm doing in conversation with Nickie Aiken. It's available on Spotify and Apple and all the usual platforms. The reason for today's podcast is it's part of my coronavirus series where I'm talking to people from all over my constituency that are playing a really important role in the emergency response. And I'm delighted to welcome today Catherine McGuinness, who is the policy chair of the City of London, which is also known basically as the borough leader, so the leader of the City of London. We are obviously doing this remotely because we are in lockdown, so there may be some issues sometimes with the quality, but hopefully not. Catherine, can I welcome you and thank you so much for taking part in today's podcast.
Well, thank you very much, Nickie. I really welcome the opportunity.
Catherine, what are your current main priorities for local people and for businesses at the moment? And what are the key services that you are providing?
Yeah, so the City of London Corporation is a little unusual because besides looking after the square mile itself and the residents and businesses actually based in that square mile, we have, as you know, a number of pan-London responsibilities, and we also work really closely with the financial and professional services sector that carries our name. And in that context, what we're doing really, I think, you could say, hangs on three pillars. We're looking to support through the immediate crisis. We're looking to sustain the economy and to sustain people as we're moving forward. And then we're looking at how we can speed the recovery, particularly of the economy, into the longer term.
What are the challenges that you are particularly facing at the moment, and what are you hearing about from local people in the city?
Yeah, well, of course, like any other area, our key concern is for the safety and well-being of our resident population. And like anybody else, they're anxious. They're worried about how we're going to move into the easing of lockdown. They're obviously feeling very constrained at the moment. And our focus with them has been to make sure that we're looking after the vulnerable, that we're getting food to people, that our library service is able to carry on serving people while they're during this period of lockdown, that our waste services continue to work properly. So it's all the usual issues that you might expect. And our businesses, and we have a lot of SMEs. People hear the city and they think the big banks, but we have 98% of the businesses in the square mile are SME. They only account for about 48% of the employment, but it's 98% and they're hugely important. They're facing all the usual problems about whether they can access the government support, whether they can access the loans quickly enough. We've now got out quite a lot of the grants they're able to apply for through us, but that's been a challenge as well. So there've been all the usual issues that other businesses have had, and we're really concerned to see how they're going to be able to cope as we ease lockdown. How are the sandwich shops, how are the bars and restaurants and so on that make the place so exciting to be going to be able to open again? How are our cultural centres, Barbican, going to come back to life?
And what advice can you give businesses at this moment in time?
Well, first and foremost, I'd say look at our website to see what we can do to help you directly. And that won't be everything, I'm afraid, but I look at our website and we're trying to signpost as much help as possible. And then we need to talk, I think, collectively about how the easing from lockdown will start, how we can get the economy up and running again.
Yeah, absolutely. It's obviously very challenging times at the moment. It's quite dark times for many people. Have you come across some really positive stories that you can give us to cheer us up?
So, I mean, I do think it's amazing how many people have adapted so well to working from home. Of course, we're really clear that they need to come back to the workplace at some point so that we remain a vibrant and exciting place to be. I think the key stories I've heard have been about, let's look first at our residents, how they've come together to support each other, setting up a food bank, making sure that they're looking after their vulnerable neighbours. You know, I couldn't speak highly enough of what's been happening on our estate. So that is a really fantastic story. And then how people have been managing to carry on work from home and carry on with business as far as possible. But that doesn't take away from the fact there are an awful lot of people who are freelance, who are artists or whatever, and can't work during this period. And I do feel for the challenges which they will be facing.
I mean, I can mirror what you're saying about local people, particularly in the city, coming together. I've been obviously liaising with those on Golden Lanes and the Barbican and over in the McGuinness Trust buildings. And it's a real community feel, and they are all looking out for each other and there always comes light even in darkness. So I am delighted to be working with those fantastic residents.
I would also say I give a lot of credit to my colleagues as well. Councillors who know where the vulnerable residents in their wards live and have been making sure that the city is aware of them.
And looking forward after recovery, what do you think with the city? Obviously, the city has evolved for centuries, if not thousands of years. Are you confident that you will be able to rebuild and play a huge part in the UK's recovery?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, both as a place and as a sector. The city itself it's been resilient through the centuries. It has great strength in innovation. We're very confident that it's going to rebound after this. It will take care. It will take government stimulus and partnership with government. And there's a lot of work to be done. But no, I'm extremely confident for the longer term. London's fundamental strengths are there. We absolutely embody them. And it gives us a lot to build on.
Catherine, thank you so much for your time today. I really appreciate it. I know how busy you are supporting businesses and residents in the City of London, and thank you for everything you're doing.
Well, thank you too, Nickie. Actually, we really appreciate all you're doing as our MP, so thank you for the partnership.
Take care.
Thanks.
So it's been another busy few weeks during the COVID-19 crisis. Thank you to all the constituents who are emailing and calling in, obviously asking for help on a wide range of issues, not just COVID related. And we are doing all we can to answer those emails as quickly as possible. But we have never seen so many emails into the inbox for obvious reasons over recent weeks. It's been a very busy time, obviously, for government. The Health Secretary announced that the government has reached its target of 100,000 plus testing, which is good news. And now our eyes turn to the recovery process. I've been working very closely with business organisations across the constituency, working out what we need from the government and from businesses across London, as well as from the Mayor, to ensure that we do have a safe and pragmatic and responsible, and I think sensitive, return to work. There will be a confidence issue. People will be worried about getting back on tubes and back on trains and buses. And we need to make sure that that is properly managed and that those who can get back to work do so, but they do so safely. So thank you for all your brilliant work in your local communities. My regular weekly phone call with the resident associations and the amenity societies across the constituency, I find so helpful and so useful. There's brilliant work being done. I know that this constituency is a fantastic place to live. And with these calls I'm doing with residents, I know even more so that the support in our neighbourhoods is so vital for the most vulnerable in our society. And I really do hope that after this emergency is over, I can continue to work so closely with these brilliant resident associations and with you to continue to make Westminster and the City of London the best place to live, work and visit in the United Kingdom.